The Cherokee Nation is in the northeast corner of Oklahoma, but we have Cherokee citizens all over the world. To help reach all of these citizens, we have Community and Cultural Outreach, or CCO, participating organizations in different communities across America. These organizations put on events in their cities and towns where Cherokee citizens can hear from their elected leaders, learn about Cherokee culture from national treasures, and have access to vital services that the Cherokee Nation provides. Today, we are learning all about these amazing organizations and profiling the at large community in the Kansas City area. Osio Nagad, Jen Lauren Dagwado, Noxi Chalagi Gadi. Welcome to Chalagi wherever we are. Today, we are learning all about the Kansas City CCO participating organization. We'll start today's show with remarks from Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, Chuck Hoskin Jr. Then Chief Hoskin will join me here for an interview about the importance of Cherokee Nation's Community and Cultural Outreach Department. After that, Deputy Chief Bryan Warner will sit down with Melissa McKee, the chairperson of the Kansas City CCO participating organization. Next, Savannah Smith and Chance Condit join us to discuss what it's like to work at community and cultural outreach events and what makes for a successful and thriving Cherokee Nation at-large community. And to wrap up today's show, we are excited to bring you a traditional story from Candace Bird Boney. And now it's my pleasure to introduce my friend and Principal Chief, Chuck Hoskin Jr., for his remarks.
OZO friends, the Cherokee Nation Community and Cultural Outreach Department, or CCO as you'll often hear it referred to across our reservation, serves as a vital bridge that connects Cherokee citizens. It's especially valuable to those Cherokees who reside outside of our reservation in northeast Oklahoma. By coordinating with our at-large CCO participating organizations, we're able to share culture, create community, and provide updates about our government. The core mission of CCO is to empower our people and strengthen our at-large communities. Through CCO, we ensure our Cherokee pride and identity are never diminished by physical distance. By supporting these at-large Cherokee Nation organizations, we're actively preserving our culture and revitalizing traditions for generations to come. Successful CCO at-large communities exemplify this mission through action. Today, we have about 25 of these thriving communities across the United States that consistently organize Cherokee language study circles, host informative history lessons, and facilitate support networks that keep Cherokees connected to one another in their daily lives. Our talented CCO staff help the chapters share their successes and efforts with the broader Cherokee Nation. It's a special reciprocal relationship that enriches the tribe and local communities. Through cultural workshops, language classes, and leadership gatherings, successful at-large CCO communities foster a real sense of belonging among our citizens across the country. When I travel to our at-large meetings throughout the year, I'm proud to see families together, celebrating what it is to be Cherokee. Members can fellowship and engage directly with staff from our tribal programs who travel to set up information booths for services and programs available. I'm always amazed at how much our cultural identity transcends geography. We firmly believe in building resilient, self-sustaining communities. Through targeted grants and dedicated training, the CCO team equips local organizations with the essential tools necessary to advocate for their members. These strategic efforts help our at-large communities grow stronger. At the heart of CCO is the enduring spirit of Gadugi, working together. The Cherokee Nation's at-large CCO programs reflect a real commitment to unity. Regardless of where our citizens reside, they remain forever connected to our tribe and the strength of the Cherokee people. Wado.
Welcome, Chief. Wado, for joining me again today. All right, CCO, I've been to some of these around the country. They're such a great time. But why is it so important for Cherokee Nation to invest in our CCO programs and for our at-large citizens?
Well, it really starts with this basic idea, which is that the Cherokee people have always had strength, identity, a sense of belonging from the grassroots up, not the top down. That goes back into history. Generations ago, we shared the same geography, and so you could start with that. Today, we don't. Most Cherokees live outside the Cherokee Nation, and many Cherokees live in some of the big urban areas of the country where we go to visit. And so if we're going to stay true to that proposition, and we have the resources to do the outreach, provide the programming, then we have to. And this isn't brand new. I think under my administration, we've increased the resources, but uh, Cherokee leaders and other folks, everyday citizens, have been doing this for some time in what
Yeah.
we'd say the modern era. And so we have to do it if we want to stay true to the idea that we're a grassroots up people.
Yeah. So, what are some of the successes that you have seen firsthand from CCO efforts that really strengthen Cherokee community groups?
Yeah, I think some of the successes are similar to what we see back home, but it's a little more challenging out in the
Yeah.
at-large communities, but I still see them. So when we want to spread knowledge of culture, what we find is we've got great hosts in these CCO organizations, say in Los Angeles, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, Dallas, Texas. You go around the country and find these groups that are host to some of our great cultural presenters. Or something that's happened in recent years is we've been sharing some of those heirloom seeds with some of
Mhm.
our at-large organizations who have planted them, shared them, and so they're perpetuating things that you want to see here within the reservation. They're doing it out there, and it's something that they can organize around, something they can find some joy in. And there's been other things as well, civic action. I mean, when we were raising the issue, particularly of seating the delegate under our treaty, I'll tell you, at-large citizens were really, I think, hungry for action to take, that they wanted to use their voice for their fellow Cherokees, and that was an opportunity. There'll surely be more in the future, but I saw success there. That only happens if you're organized, not if you're
Mhm.
simply identifying that you got hundreds of thousands of people scattered, but you're really organized. Language courses, we do in-person language courses. Just yesterday, I zoomed in to a language course in Atlanta, Georgia. Our language courses are hybrid. We do a Zoom in, and then we send our staff out. And so all this is happening, and it is successful because I see it on the faces of the participants. I see it in people who are looking forward to that history course, or looking forward to getting those seeds, or looking forward to having the annual gathering. It's really working, I think.
Yeah, it's so cool to see it
Mhm.
happening. So, what is it like to see familiar faces
Mhm.
each year? Maybe you go to the same at large gatherings across the country. And then I know I've met some very impressive people,
Yeah.
impressive Cherokees in these groups. So, what's it like to meet new friends?
It's great both to
Yeah.
meet the old friends and new. At this point, I've been doing this since before I was the principal chief when I worked for Chief Baker, and so more than a decade, I've been traveling at large, and you're seeing people who maybe were little kids at one point and they've
Yeah.
grown up. Seeing them grow up is fun. Another person on our show who I got to know through these at-large meetings, Chance Condit, somebody that is out there doing great things in his own community. He's Cherokee. He's
Yeah.
doing it as a Cherokee. That's not uncommon, so we'll go to different, at-large, communities, and we'll meet people that are doing really exciting things in business, science, maybe the faith community, maybe they're into politics, some sort of civil service. We're finding those folks and connecting with them in ways that we couldn't unless we physically went out and shared, sort of the old-fashioned Cherokee joyful thing of having a meal together and just
Mhm.
having a picnic. So I love that. That's one of the reasons I look forward every year, because I'm gonna see people I know. I'm gonna meet a lot of people I've never met before, and it's always a joy.
So, what does the future hold for CCO?
Yeah.
Look in your crystal ball.
Mhm.
How would you like to see it grow?
Well, I'd like to see it grow by having these at-large organizations grow. We've provided more funding for the organizations to do things like wellness activities. I know of a group in Los Angeles that's challenging each other to do a certain amount of steps for health over a period of time, and they're doing it in an organized way. They're using one of our wellness grants that we give to every organization on res and off, $25,000. It's challenging when you are trying to organize in, say, a major urban area in this country and
Yeah.
the Cherokees are scattered. So that's a great challenge. But I just want to see them find things they can focus on to organize around. It's not enough just to have a meeting, but to talk about language, to talk about culture, to talk about lifeways such as our heirloom seeds, to talk about wellness. And I hope we get to a point where they are civically active, not I'm talking partisan politics. I'm just talking about raising more issues where they are that are important to Native Americans. I think our size, our numbers can be a way to do that. And again, in a way that's not involved in the really difficult world of partisan politics, but just raising issues that are important to Indian
Yeah,
country. So I think civic activism can be part of the future, but I think the future's bright.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Jen.
Next, we turn it over to my friend Deputy Chief Bryan Warner, who is chatting with Melissa McKee of the Kansas City CCO participating organization. Deputy?
Wado, Jen, and welcome everyone. CO Nagad, hello. This is Deputy Chief Bryan Warner, yet here again for another episode of Cherokees, wherever we are. Today we're in the Shawnee Mission High School. We are at a Kansas City at-large community meeting, and I've got a very, very special guest with us today. I got Miss Melissa McKee. If you know Melissa, she's been hard at work for a long time within the Kansas City Cherokee Community Org, and I can't say enough, Melissa. Thank you for being here.
Honored to be here.
Well, I want to know, how did you get started with this community org and these at-large folks?
I believe I received a postcard from Cherokee Nation for actually this event that's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time. I mean, prior to me serving on the board. So I went to a meeting, kept on going to meetings, and was asked to serve on the board.
Well, I think some of the big importances of this is remaining connected to folks that are on the reservation, remaining connected to all of the at-large citizens. Getting to do these things, you get to work with our community and culture outreach, our CCO folks out there. I know Miss Savannah Smith does a great job and her team. How's it been working with that group?
It's absolutely amazing. They're the reason why we exist as an at-large organization. They're very helpful all the time. They're always very responsive. They have the answers to all my questions.
So y'all walk in humility each and every day, but you've done a lot. You've been awarded several different things throughout your tenure of being on as the chairperson. Tell me a little bit. I understand that we have these sister organizations and different things. So how are you connected to the reservation?
We're connected with the reservation in many ways, but our sister community is actually Native American Fellowship, Inc., which of course is Bill Davis, Chris Crane. So
Yeah.
we support one another in everything we do. I was just down there in December and spoke with them.
Okay.
And they had a very large crowd there for December. Bill's also my advisor. If I have a question, kind of guides me on how to.
bet.
He's been around a minute,
Yeah,
so he
just
knows
a
what to
little
do.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, he has the rest of the answers for
You
me.
bet. Oh, that's good. Tell me a little bit, though, kind of looking back throughout the time as you've been here in Kansas City and working. What's some of the most fond memories that you have of and different types of activities that you guys have done and been a part of? Whether it be cultural, whether it be educational, history. Give me a look inside.
That's hard to choose from. I love these events.
Yes.
They're huge.
Yes.
We usually have about 60 plus at our events, so this is a little larger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of people to get this together to where we are
Absolutely.
today, and I'm very appreciative of all those volunteers. But every event doesn't really matter what we're doing. The community likes being together. The people like being together.
bet.
They like learning. They like teaching. They like sharing.
So tell me from your perspective, Melissa, you're a chairperson, you've served in other capacities. What is it like seeing people gather at an event like this and seeing them reconnect sometimes for maybe the first time or a continuation of what they're learning? How does that make you and your organization feel?
Oh, it makes us feel wonderful. It makes us feel like we're serving our purpose.
Absolutely.
Reconnecting people, having them get together, whether this is their first event or whether it's their 10th time here.
Something you guys mentioned last night that I was very proud of, the Heritage Heirloom Seed program that we offered up. Tell me a little bit about your success in doing that. I heard you got a master gardener and you kind of incorporated some people. Very impressed.
Absolutely. Last year, with the help of the Cherokee Nation CCO Health and Wellness Grant, we kicked off the year with gardening. We had Jenny Wilson do a presentation. And we have a lot of gardeners, but Jenny Wilson took on the responsibility to start our heirloom seed garden in Omaha, of all places. But she has a wonderful garden. She was very successful with it. We still have a box of seeds from Jenny's garden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're happy to share those.
Hey, folks, you hear that? We're happy to share those seeds. And these were grown by a master gardener outside of the Cherokee Nation Reservation in an at-large community. This is something that we dreamed about doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's exciting.
I'm not sure Jenny's a master gardener, but I'd say she is.
Well, we'll give her that tag.
Yeah,
We're
gonna
a
give her that
sovereign
tag.
nation. We can do that. You know, we'll put that tag on her. Absolutely. Well, you know, we've talked about connecting. We've talked about your presentations and what you all do. You do a fabulous job. I can't brag on you enough. How do you connect the youth and the elders of our community together to continue keeping this flourishing for Kansas City?
Usually I team them together
Okay.
to work on activities. We're
Right.
always doing something.
Yeah.
So the youth help the elders help the youth and guide them. Currently I'm looking at hoping to start a youth leadership group for 18 and under so that we can make sure that we're meeting all their needs.
Okay.
We have youth storytellers already. We have youth stickball players. We have youth artists. We have it all.
What's something that you see in the future for CCO organizations at large, and how bright does that look with the things that we've been able to put together from the tribal government to you guys, everybody kind of coming together?
Oh wow, that's a difficult question. We're striving and we're still growing, so I hope to see more of that. We're outgrowing our space that we typically use,
You
so
bet.
space is always going to be a thing for at-large communities as we grow. I look for the younger age to get involved. We do have a few, but they seem to fall out of range from college years, from 18 to 23.
Yeah.
So try to concentrate on bringing more of that age group in so we don't lose them during that period.
I think that's important. Well, Melissa, it's been an honor to sit here with you. It's always an honor to get to see you. Seems like I've seen you just as much on the reservation as I have seen you off the reservation. I hope people are taking a hint at that because when you travel down and you're kind of getting down into the heart of where we're at, and you're bringing that back to the folks and showing them that connection, it's great. If there's anyone out there as we are closing out that may be thinking, how do I get involved?
I would go to Cherokee Nation at large if you're an at-large citizen and find the community closest to you. Regardless of whether you're in another state, we have members in Ohio, we have members in Iowa, we have members in Nebraska. We have one member from Pryor. It doesn't matter really where you are.
That's right.
You can join our community because we do so many things online too. And actually, the person that usually facilitates our language classes is now with the Cherokee Nation Language Department.
Right.
So great job.
Yeah.
And we also we have book clubs online.
Okay.
So there is ways to connect even if you live out of state.
Yes.
And then sometimes those people are from out of state, they make the trip here.
Yeah.
We have people here from Nebraska today.
Well, that's fascinating. Thank you for your dedication, Melissa. This is something that is not easily done, but you make it look very graceful, and you have a humble way of putting things. And so I just want to say Waton to you, and thank you for joining us today.
Wado, appreciate it.
Wado, Deputy, it's great to hear about all the amazing things they're doing up in Kansas City. Speaking of amazing things, I am now joined by two vital members of our CCO team, Savannah Smith and Chance Condit. CO Nagad, thank you so much for being here, Wado.
Yeah.
All right, we're so glad to have you. Savannah, I want to start with you. Let's dive right in. Tell us, why is it important for Cherokee citizens to get involved with their local at-large communities through the CCO events?
So our at-large organizations are there to promote Cherokee culture, language, and history. They also have a little bit of community life in there. But it's a way for citizens who live far away to be able to connect with a group. And through CCO, from the support of us with grants, we also provide history classes, language classes, history classes, And it's a way for them to get a little bit of Cherokee Nation every now and then. These at large organizations, outside of the annual event that they do every year, they also hold events throughout the year. So citizens in that area aren't having to just get one event a year to be able
Hmm.
to get a little piece of home. They can have it throughout the year.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, just as Savannah said, it's about connecting our folks who are at large to one, our history, our culture, as well as our government,
Hmm.
and making sure that they have the resources necessary so that they can thrive off the reservation. And obviously, there's about 320,000 at-large members nationally. So from Florida to California to Texas, Oregon, Washington, all over the country, Cherokees are everywhere.
Hmm.
And it's just as Savannah said, we're making sure that they have a resource, a direct outline or pathway to the Cherokee Nation
Hmm.
and making sure that they get those services, making sure they get the representation.
Yeah. And like you said, over 300,000 people, that's a lot of people.
It is.
So we visited the Kansas City CCO meeting. What makes a group like that such a good example of success in building those community and connections?
Well, I think that it's important for any at-large organization, one, to have good leadership.
Okay.
We have to remember that these board members who make up these groups are volunteers. They
Hmm.
have lives outside of
Right.
these responsibilities. So one, they've stepped up to the plate. They've met us halfway in trying to provide leadership for their local Cherokee community, as well as communicating with the CCO, with our Cherokee Nation officials, making sure that they're aware of what's going on the grassroots level, because essentially there are boots on the ground off reservation, and just making sure that they're getting what they need and the proper support that they need. Savannah, as well as Deputy Secretary Kane and Duncan, have done incredible work. Our CCO staff has done incredible
Hmm.
work in making sure that we're filling those gaps and making sure that they're getting the representation and the services that they need in these at-large communities.
Yeah. Savannah, from your perspective, you work with these groups
Hmm.
a lot. What do you think makes a successful organization?
Well, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And, when we get new groups who come in, there's always that struggle of getting members. And as Chance mentioned, the volunteer. I mean, it is. It's not paid. These people are doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. And Kansas City, is one of our, more active groups.
Hmm.
They have a huge, population, just in their Kansas City
Hmm.
area, but, Kansas City, man, they have good events throughout the year.
Hmm.
They make sure to, have their board meetings every month. They make sure to put the news out there. They have a great newsletter. So just, really being active in their community,
Hmm.
working with us. We're always here, and that's what we always say. We tell everybody, we're CCO is always here to help support them in whatever they need.
That's right. You are. So, what types of programs and services can citizens expect to access at these events?
So for our at-large events, of course, Cherokee Nation comes down. We have our departments there to give information, whether that's education, our health services staff, the Doogie portal. But throughout the year, we offer grants to our at-large organizations in support for fundraising activities, and a lot of them may hold, like I said, annual membership meetings. They also get history classes, I mentioned before. They get the language classes. And so that's just always, how we Cherokee people are. We like to get together and we like to eat. And so most of their events are around some type of cultural presentation,
Mhm.
and some food.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you go to a Cherokee Nation event, one thing you can't expect and be certain of is you're going to be fed
Yeah.
well. You're going to get some good food.
Yeah.
You're going to have great conversations. You're going to hear a lot of storytelling. I know Robert Lewis frequents these events quite
Hmm.
often. We have national treasures there, such as Robert, such as Tommy Wildcat, amongst others. And you're also going to get the opportunity to get your tribal ID. You're going to get the opportunity to register to vote and also interact with your elected Cherokee Nation officials. We have two great at-large council members, Johnny Jack Kidwell as Dr. Julia Coates as well. And you get an opportunity to meet with the principal chief. You get the opportunity to meet with the deputy secretary of state. So it's a great opportunity for at-large citizens to connect directly with the Cherokee Nation. And you're Cherokee no matter where you live. And you matter to us. You matter to the Cherokee Nation. You matter to the CCO.
Absolutely. I want to know, like, so, you living here in the Cherokee Nation and you living at large,
Yeah.
I have been to several of the CCO events, and there's just such a I mean, there's a warmth there of community, and it's kind of like a homecoming and a gathering, a family reunion of sorts. But I feel like for people who live at large, there's a yearning
Yes.
to be connected. Can you kind of tell us about that?
Absolutely. Well, as an at-large citizen, I live out in California. I live in the Central Valley. I'm a member of the Cherokees of the Greater Central Valley, which is based out of Fresno. And you're absolutely right. There's a hunger for our history, a hunger for our culture. We want to be Cherokee 24/7. And living at large, that is a battle. That is something that we face and that we're up against because we're not immersed into the culture like the folks who live on the reservation. So it's upon us and it is our duty to fully embrace being Cherokee, and we truly are Cherokee wherever we are. No matter what state, no matter what your zip code is, no matter your address, we are Cherokee. And it's always great to get together with one another and remind each other of that and to embrace our history, embrace our culture, and speak our language because those are what is valuable to us. But I see it. I see it in Kansas City. I see it in Texas. I see it in Oregon. There are great things happening off the reservation. Our at-large communities are leading the way, and we couldn't do it without the volunteers of each organization.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Savannah, I know going to at-large communities from our reservation, we're a small world here in the Cherokee Nation. We know a lot of each other, and
Mhm.
I think it seems like when we go to these at-large organizations, it kind of broadens our scope of like who other Cherokees there are out in the
Right.
world. Could you talk about that and bringing the Cherokee Nation to them?
At CCO, we have a really well-rounded staff, and we have a staff that are from rural Adair County. We have staff that, me personally, I didn't grow up on the reservation. I lived at large most of my life until I was a little bit older. But for me, going to these meetings, honestly, I tell my staff, "Be how you are," because, I mean, our hog fry crew, a majority of them are from Stillwell, and then Tahlequah area, and, they have the humor, they bring the humor, we eat good, but for me, when we get there and we see people, you see 2 different for me, what sticks out is 2 different types of people. You have the ones who have not grown up on the reservation, and so there's an excitement. They look forward to this event every year, and, you get to know them as we go every year. I'm like, "Oh, there's Susan," or,
Hmm.
"There's Henry," or, um and then you have the people who you connect with back home because they know somebody that
Right.
you know. And I always enjoy doing that. And they'll say, "Oh, you're from Stilla. Do you know this person?"
Hmm.
And so I enjoy being able to have that because I know that for them, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. We're all about connection. And so that's what I enjoy is going, being able to bring that to them, but also getting to meet people that I can relate to somebody they know back home.
Great. Any final thoughts about the future of CCO and what you'd like to see before we go?
Well, Chance, he's doing some really good work right now. He is working with our at-large organizations. He's doing an assessment with them on just how we can better support our at-large communities. And so I'm excited about that because, Chief Hoskin, he's done a really good job in helping our communities. And because of that, we're busy at CCO right now. Everybody wants to be a CCO participating organization, and which is a good thing. And I think moving forward, CCO, I can see it growing.
Hmm.
And that's really just to better serve our at-large community organizations.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank Savannah for her leadership. I want to thank all of our incredible CCO staff, Tammy Miller, Mary Stevenson, Deputy Secretary of State Kanan
Hmm.
Duncan. They do phenomenal work. It's an honor to work alongside of them and trying to support our at-large communities. It's been a great pleasure meeting our at-large communities face level in their state, in their home, and just hearing them out, hearing what problems, what challenges they may face or may occur, and then going back to the CCO and reporting to them and trying to remedy that, if
Yeah,
you will. But it's about Guadugi at the end of the day. It's about working
that's
together.
right.
And that's something us Cherokees do best,
Yeah,
is working together and supporting one another. And I think the future is very bright for our at-large organizations.
I agree. Very cool. So, if someone wants to learn more about CCO or how to participate, how do they follow social media or? Go on the website.
So we have a Facebook page, Community and Cultural Outreach, and then we have a website, lists different at-large programs that at-large citizens can have access to. And Cherokee.org, we also have a list of our participating organizations on there.
Perfect. Well, now you know how to get in touch. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time.
What up?
Thank you.
What up? Finally, Candace Bird Boney is here to tell you a classic Cherokee story. Enjoy.
Osio, Candace Birdboni Dawado, Chike e Chisqua, Kolaha Dawado. My name is Candace Birdboni, and I will be telling you the origin of how the partridge got his whistle. Ilahiu Jigesa, Sawiawa. They say that it happened a long time ago, that the Doxy, the turtle, he was a mighty warrior, and he always was winning these things and these trophies in battles. Well, one of the things that he won was a whistle. And he would show his whistle off to everyone who saw it. And he would go around just playing his whistle, just tooting around. So he would go around playing this whistle. Well, the partridge overheard. And the partridge thought, I don't have a whistle. I don't even have a very pretty voice. And the partridge began to get jealous, just listening to that Doxy playing his little whistle all day. So one day, the partridge found an excuse to walk beside Doxy. And he was telling Doxy what a lovely and fine whistle it was. And he wondered if he could borrow it sometime, if he could use it to practice. And the Doxy thought, I'm very fond of my whistle. I'm very fond of this, and I really don't want to give it up. It's something that I want. And the partridge told him, well, if you're afraid something's going to happen, you can stand right beside me and I'll just stand beside you and I'll just play it and I won't go anywhere. And the Doxy thought that sounded reasonable. So he gave the partridge his little whistle. And the partridge gave it a little whirl. And the Doxy clapped and he thought, oh, that sounds very, very nice. And the partridge thought, do you like the sound of that? And Doxy said, yes, it sounds very nice. Well, the partridge flew a little further ahead. And he said, well, how does it sound from here? And the Doxy, moving very slowly, said, it sounds very, very nice. But could you not fly so far away next time? Well, the partridge flew to the top of a tree. And he said, well, how does it sound from way up here? And with that, the partridge flew away. And the Doxy got so embarrassed. He had lost his whistle that he had worked so hard for. And that's why to this day, when you approach Doxy, because Doxy lost his whistle, Doxy draws himself inside his house and becomes that box. He's ashamed that he lost his whistle, and that's why he still draws himself in whenever anyone approaches. And that's how the partridge got his whistle. Wadon.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. We hope you've enjoyed our show. It's great to learn more about all the amazing things our CCO at-large organizations do and learn more details from the Kansas City community. We really do appreciate all of the hard work that our community and cultural outreach team does throughout the year and for these unique gatherings of Cherokee citizens. They're a really good time if you ever get a chance to go to one. Cherokees have no word for goodbye. We say, Dodadago Ha'i. Until we see each other again, Wado.